It's part one of today's Local 6 Legal Line, visiting with Austin Kennady of the Bryan Law Center, Paducah and Louisville, and the topic is personal injury. If you have a question regarding personal injury, if you think you have a case, got a question, give us a call, 1-888-208-6946. And we have a question from Jeremy who says, how soon after a car accident should I call an attorney?
Well, I would always say that the sooner the better. You can run into a few problems if you wait till the last minute. One being, by the time that you hire an attorney on your case, a lot of things can have already gone wrong, where it makes it very hard to get the train back on the tracks. Another thing is obviously statute of limitations. A lot of times when people hire me, it's getting close to the anniversary of the accident. Statute of limitations is beginning to run or getting close to running. And it forces you to file a case, whether a lawsuit or a claim in workers' comp, that you otherwise wouldn't have had to file and litigate if you had been on the case earlier. So I would always say that the sooner the better. It allows the attorney to kind of dictate and follow through and make sure everything is going according to plan. If you wait, you can run into a lot of problems down the road.
We have a question from Terrence who says, I was taking mail to the post office for my job and I was injured in a car accident. Can I file for workers' comp?
Yes, you would basically have two different claims there. Obviously, you're in the course and scope of your employment, so it's work-related. You would have a workers' compensation claim, but you would also have a third-party liability claim against the at-fault driver. The workers' compensation is primary, meaning they would pay on the medicals and your wage loss while you're off work for doctor's orders. You'd also be entitled to potentially what's called permanent partial disability if you have an impairment rating. Once you've reached maximum medical improvement, or you're as good as you're going to be per your doctor. But then you'd also have a third-party claim. Now, the difference there is that you cannot make a double recovery. You can't get paid for the same damages in both work comp and the personal injury claim. But one thing that personal injury has that work comp doesn't is what's called pain and suffering. So you can make the claim against the third party for pain and suffering and any medical bills or wage loss that wasn't paid by the workers' compensation insurance carrier. But that's definitely one that they have to be worked basically the same time. It's very good to get an attorney that can handle both of those. So I would recommend, I would strongly encourage you to call an attorney on that.
Got about 90 seconds left in segment one, and we have a question from an anonymous viewer who says, I had a back injury back in 2000. Got over it, was recently rear-ended at a traffic light. I'm now experiencing severe back pain. Would I have a claim now since I injured my back before?
Yes, you would, and with time, I mean, obviously a lot can happen from 2000 to the present. Medical records are very important. Getting different MRI scans post-2000, like once you've had, say, surgery or had your treatment with your doctor, you have an MRI scan showing that your back was intact. And if you're able to work and carry on doing things until you had the car accident 20 years later, it really shouldn't factor in too much, other than basically what it is it's an exacerbation of a pre-existing but dormant injury. The car wreck in 2020 or 2021, whenever, that would just be a new claim, but it's a pre-existing, an exacerbation of a pre-existing old injury. You'd still be compensated for it. You'd still have a case against the at-fault driver and that person's insurance company. But medical records definitely speak volumes. So it might be important, if it's possible, to get any kind of MRIs or medical records around the time you had your 2000 accident, and then compare them to the MRI scans or X-rays now.
He is Austin Kennady of the Bryan Law Center, Paducah and Louisville. He has helped us with part one of today's Local 6 Legal Line. The good news for you is that we have more questions in the pipeline, and we have Joe Rourke on deck next. He'll be in the hot seat answering those questions, so stay tuned. Part two of Local 6 Legal Line straight ahead on Local 6 Midday.